Hello， 大家好，欢迎回到外媒看中国，我是安博然。Amnesty International has royally screwed up, claiming a Uyghur man studying in South Korea had disappeared after being abducted by Hong Kong police 2 weeks ago. It turns out, as anyone with a brain could have guessed, that the story was a fake. But did Amnesty International apologize for spreading false information? Of course not, and they even deleted their correction after just one day. Sounds a bit dodgy, right? Today we'll take a closer look. This is Reports on China. I'm Andy Boreham in Shanghai. Let's get reporting. On May 26, the Western media was aflutter with excitement as the perfect China bad story hit the press. Amnesty International, a so-called human rights organization who in actual fact are just a tool for Western hegemony, claimed a Uyghur student doing a doctorate in South Korea had been missing for 2 weeks after visiting Hong Kong and being kidnapped by police there. Their Oscar award-winning demand read like this: Hong Kong, government must reveal whereabouts of a Uyghur student detained at airport. Now, you must understand exactly how perfect this opportunity to smear China was for Amnesty International and the Western media, especially after the embarrassing claims Western governments and media have tried to make stick that millions of Uyghurs were locked up in concentration camps and genocided, all without a single shred of actual evidence. Spoiler alert, that's because it never happened. Amnesty's dramatic but oh so perfect claim read, on 10 May 2023, Abu Duwaili travelled to Hong Kong to visit a friend, but he has been missing since his text message that evening saying that he was being questioned at the airport by Chinese police. The friend has made Duwaili's disappearance public after becoming increasingly concerned for his safety. The Western media and anti-China Twitter trolls reacted on cue, ramping up the dramatic story as evidence that China is evil and that Hong Kong no longer acts independently as per one country, two systems, abducting so-called political dissidents at the behest of their evil masters in Beijing. Of course, for you and I, this sounds extremely absurd, and we could tell right from the very beginning that this story just did not add up. But don't fret. The truth would come out in a matter of days, leaving egg on the faces of Amnesty International and the Western media, and hopefully forcing a lot of them to reflect and not be so quick to jump at these dramatic claims in the future. First, though, let's check out some of the hysteria and excitement as anti-China trolls frothed at the bit with their perfect China bad story. Hong Kong, the police are asking me questions. Last text message from a missing Uyghur, read one headline. Wow, so dramatic. Tom Grundy, founder and editor-in-chief of Hong Kong Free Press, who says on his Twitter bio that he offers 100% independent, impartial news, tweeted, Uyghur student missing for 2 weeks after alleged encounter with Hong Kong police. Unless there is sufficient and concrete evidence pointing to an internationally recognizable crime, Duwaili must be immediately released. In the United States, Fox News ran with this headline: Uyghur student missing for weeks after being interrogated by police at airport in Hong Kong. Student has not been heard from since texting his friend about being questioned after his arrival. Rashan Abbas, founder and executive director of Campaign for Uyghurs, surprisingly enough a group based in none other than Washington, D.C., said, clear evidence of deteriorating democracy in Hong Kong and the ongoing Uyghur genocide. The Chinese government must be pressured to reveal the whereabouts of Duwaili. #End Uyghur genocide. LOL. The Australian said, China detention fears for Uyghur man Duwaili missing in Hong Kong. Now, as you can see, the media were in absolute heaven, but the story would soon start crumbling down. A day after Amnesty's idiotic claim, Hong Kong officially announced that the student never attempted to enter the city and was not denied entry either, and demanded an apology from Amnesty International. Then South Korean media slowly started to report that the Uyghur student was still in South Korea and had never left. How embarrassing. Finally, on May 30, Amnesty International issued a correction on their site above the original claim stating, On May 30, 2023, Abu Dawaili spoke with Amnesty International and told us that he did not travel to Hong Kong, contrary to previous information received. It turns out then that Abu Dawaili made up those claims for whatever reason, but has yet to explain clearly. It could be that he was avoiding that so-called friend and didn't want to have anything to do with them anymore. Or it could be that he was simply trying to cause trouble and didn't realize how much attention his claims would gain. Soon after, Johnson Yung, chair of Amnesty International Hong Kong, admitted their mistake and seemed apologetic, saying, "Correction, Abu Dawaili spoke with Amnesty International and apparently he is in South Korea. Apologies for circulating wrong information. We need to unpack what went wrong." He then linked to the correction on Amnesty's website, but guess what? It has been deleted. I'm not even joking. They couldn't even bear to admit their hideous mistake for a full day before deleting it and any reference to Abu Dawaili on their website at all, like it never even happened. Western media were forced to announce that their perfect China bad story was just a fantasy. This one was funny. The Wall Street Journal was initially quite harsh on Amnesty for embarrassing the entire Western media establishment, running with the headline, "Rights Group Backtracks on Report of Missing Uyghur Scholar After Questions Emerge." But they were clearly given a bit of a spanking and soon changed the headline to one that is less critical. Rights Group Revisits Report. Lol, so funny. Associated Press journalist Kenneth Lung was confused about how this could all happen, tweeting, "Amnesty International said Tuesday that a Uyghur student who it had said was missing in Hong Kong after being interrogated did not travel to the city, easing concerns over his safety, but raising questions over how the allegations first emerged." Now, I think she knows exactly how it all blew up, so I replied, "Kenneth, you know how the allegations first emerged, dear, because people like you were salivating at the idea of another China bad story, so you lost any semblance of the reason you might employ if a similar allegation relating to any other country came across your desk. Hang your head in shame and think about how to improve." Some media ran with new stories, but in my opinion, it's better to amend the previous accounts to stop fake news from spreading altogether. I appreciate what The Diplomat did, pasting the updated correction right at the top of their original article so that readers won't be misled. So what can we learn from all this? Well, those on our side already know what went wrong and how to deal with it. Basically, Western media and anti-China trolls are obsessed with anything they can use to paint China as the dangerous, dirty, dystopian nightmare they want the world to believe it is. So when people like Amnesty International and the Western media who ran the story come across a perfect China bad story that ticks all of their boxes, they rush to get it out there without engaging their brains and using some common sense first. They are so obsessed with the opportunity to smear China that they blindly remove all of the parts of their brain that might engage if the claims were about any other country. They don't ask questions, they don't think about possible motives or alternative explanations, they don't sit down, breathe, and do any research. Basically, when presented with this kind of opportunity, they turn into rabid dogs. Luckily, this stupid claim gained so much media attention exactly because of this obsession with China bad, that when it turned out to be fake, the media had no choice but to show themselves up as the idiots that they are. Hopefully, this will mean that in the future, media are a bit more cautious about accepting such stories from people like Amnesty International and ASPI and so on at face value. And hopefully, they'll act like actual journalists and ask the important questions first. Hopefully. As for Amnesty International, though, it appears they have learned absolutely nothing, especially based on the fact that they refused to apologize and then quickly deleted their correction and any reference whatsoever to this hideous debacle on their website. But the good news is that the damage has been done. Amnesty has taken a huge blow to its credibility, And you can rest assured its politically driven efforts to undermine countries outside of the sphere of Western dominance will be that little bit harder from now on. Okay, guys, that's it for today. As always, I would love to hear what you think. Do let me know down below. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.